What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. It's Nick here with Brent, American Engineering, and a couple days before the UTV World Championships, got the car all dialed in. Brent's been going through everything, and we're hoping for a good run here. I think we got the car for sure a lot more dialed than we've ever had it. Yeah. It's been a while since we've done a race car update video, so I'm just going to kind of touch on everything that's changed since our last race was in January. It's got a brand new transmission, or a new to me used XP Pro transmission, and a brand new motor. We had some issues that's since all been retuned by Mark Queen in Havasu. Got the car up to almost 100 miles an hour. Definitely feels a lot different. Updated and upgraded with some new wheels and tires thanks to Tensor and Method Wheels. For a sponsorship, we're going to be running their tires. If you guys follow the channel, you see me been running these on our play cars and really liked them, so got those changes made. Those are some of the biggest changes to the car, but Brent has also added a remote oil cooler to help with our oil temperatures, motor temps. We've had the shocks completely redone. We did some videos where we had them redone by Wayne at Alltech, and then he went and totally redone them, and we haven't raced with them yet. So I've only driven a little bit with the shocks all set up like as they should be with all new internals. Yeah. So, you know, one by one we're chipping stuff off. Baja D lights. Brent installed these LP4s on the front. We're full Baja D with the chase light. Got a new steering rack. Brent just installed shock therapy, and Brent custom made some tie rods for these things. Yep. So the car is going to feel a lot tighter. I think it was the old steering rack was really loose, and the front end felt really skatey. Even the tuner noticed that. I think with the ITP tires too. So I think the front end should feel a lot different. And really, we're just out here today to make sure the car is dialed. Prep the CVs. Brent kind of went through every single thing. We had some issues when we were out here testing. We bent and broke a mount for the sway bar, and we just upgraded to some nice billet front motor mount. So we got the full chromoly Lone Star front motor mount. These are from UTV Inc. Just want to go with something CNC'd, local company, make nice stuff. So man, Brent, we're clicking off all these things that we thought were potential weak points, and yeah, not really spending money just to say that we bought from these companies. But you know, if we're gonna show up in races, I've learned we want to show up and have a car that's dialed and ready so we can have a good run. And we think we're there. We thought we were there in our first race at Rage, and I've learned a lot. Like I say in this sport, the learning curve is really, really steep, but I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, as faster you go, you got to have more heavy duty parts. So basically, we are just upgrading and keeping with the speed. So, you know, CNC, billet, chromoly parts, grade 8 hardware, you know, race rack. It's all going with how fast the car is. So I'm really excited to see how it all turns out. No more excuses for me, guys. I'm gonna have to figure out how to drive this thing fast. So we're gonna go hop in it. I think it's definitely gonna feel different. The power band feels a lot more linear than it did before. Yeah. I remember when I put the 33s on my play car, it's very noticeable, the difference between 32s. New steering rack, like I said, shocks. So this car is going to feel quite a bit different. So we're going to go watch our temps, watch our voltages. We also, Brent installed a 900 watt stator. So we've got more voltage, which shouldn't be an issue in case our race runs into the night. Right. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that, because UTV World Champs are racing unlimited class, which is Friday at 2 p.m. 5 loops. It's about a 29.5, 30 mile loop. So we're looking at about 145 miles. 26 gallon fuel cell. We're now mixing race gas. Queen wanted us to run some higher octane because it's just a lot easier to tune and the car runs a lot better. Right. Some of our race friends are getting over 6, 7, maybe 8 miles per gallon. So in theory, we should have enough range, but I think our plan is to get a splash at least 5 gallons or so. Yeah. Yeah, some of the things I've seen on the internet right now, there's a lot of washes. So maybe it'll drop the miles per hour down a little bit. So yeah, just to be on the safe side, I think we need to do a splash. Speaking of being a safe side, we've thrown on some fresh brake pads. Brent did. We're gonna make sure those get all seated in. He bled the brakes, so we think we're ready, guys. So we're gonna go find out right now. We're gonna get some miles in. We'll report back later. All right, guys, we just logged in some good laps. Brent in the car. First time I did a couple laps, we didn't film just to get used to the car. The brake pads were new. And then it definitely felt a little different, but once we had the co-rider in, felt good. And basically, we're pretty excited because Brent just said it's the fastest I've ever driven the car. Definitely feels that way. And the car felt great. These tires are so much more comfortable than these ITPs. Definitely feels different, but it just feels more cushiony. You don't feel all the harsh rocks out here, and I can say that pretty confidently because we've been out here a bunch.
Yeah.
The new steering rack really helps a lot. Man, the power is really linear, and it felt good. We got the pads seated in and the brakes. No issues, no leaks. The main challenge for us is our temperature. So by myself, first 2 laps, got the car to 225. If you guys know, on these RZR turbos, limp mode is right around there, 228, 230-ish. Brent jumped in the car. We got to what, 222-ish, and then we'd kind of back off. And then in certain corners, right, Brent, it would go back down to 210, 215.
It would drop down to like even 205. And then we did a lap. I told you to do like 80% to see, and it was like 205, 210. So. And then we did our last lap. I'm like, just go for it. And it was the same thing. It was like 217, 218. It just seemed to stay there all day long. And the belt temps were 180. The highest was 190. I mean, it was phenomenal. I mean, and like I said, you're the fastest you've ever driven this car. And it wants to drive fast. The 80% seemed like it kicked a little more, which was I wanted to see. And no, it wants to go.
There's a good G out I'll play for you here real quick. When I went through that with Adam in my car, Adam had the thing like this, and the faster I hit it, you know, the smoother the car felt. The suspension, again, Wayne Iswelson, the magician.
Yeah.
But real quick, I know we'll talk quickly about what we think we can do in the future, maybe not for this race, to get the car cooler, and then we'll talk about what our strategy is. So one thing we know, Brent's brought this up for a while, as well as Mark Queen, is our seats. These seats are really mitigating the airflow to the radiator.
Yes.
I'm not in a position necessarily to get some new seats. We kind of knew about this. I'm not gonna change it out for this race. So we think with that, and then also we got the CBR radiator where Brent says CBR has a dual fan setup where we're just gonna replace the shroud.
Yes.
And Adam, another customer of his, switched out to it hoping for lower temps.
Yeah, it's just pulling, it's not really pulling his air from the corners as much, and I've noticed a lot of people changing to that. And yeah, the seats are blocking the air, but the thing that I noticed, you know, with our 5 hard laps is like it didn't just spike and stay up there. Like it would go up and then come down, just kind of how we were driving. So I'm okay with it for next weekend, because you can, you know, say, you know, if you're in a you know, somewhere where you're going a little bit slower, it's going to drop it down. It's not going to just like go, you're hauling butt and then go into limp mode. So it stayed around 200 to 215 all day. So
yeah, and also too, you see the oil cooler back in here. You know, it's not getting that much airflow, but I'm sure it's helping. We've got a lot more oil capacity. But you know, as it leads to our strategy, Brent already started to talk about it. You know, maybe we're thinking we went 80% and for sure say 217-ish. So
yeah,
if there's some big wash up hills, I know we're gonna have to let off the gas a little bit.
Right.
Like Laughlin, like Rage at the River.
Right.
Especially with Andrew in the car, weighs more than Brent. It's gonna be about this hot. We're low 90s right now. We're just gonna have to drive with a good strategy, like Brent was saying. If there's sections of the course that are rough, maybe we can let off the gas. Hopefully the car can cool down, probably through the 25-mile-per-hour speed zone. The car can cool back down. It is dropping. I do know we have friends that are running cooler temps. It is something we're going to try to fix for the future, but the strategy for this race is try to figure out on that race course where we think we can be easier on the car, maybe not lose a lot of time, and then haul the mail when we can. Yeah,
I mean, we've adjusted this car and you know, elevated it to where it was suspension and tires and drivetrain, and now that, you know, we haven't gone these speeds, so now we just need to adjust a little bit on the cooling thing. But yeah, if we go in some sections with a lot of rocks or big boulders or whatnot, yeah, we slow down. That's like a cool pace. You know, we do a cool pace in there, and obviously if it's a lot of dust, you're not going to be able to charge hard. So it's, you know, I think we'll be just fine for next weekend.
Yeah, like Brent said, I mean, we're going faster and we're learning. This is the part of documenting this video series. This is so you want to go racing. There's so much to learn, and the game changes once you start driving faster. I first got these shocks back, and I thought they were a little stiff from when Wayne originally set them up. Then I let Adam drive the car, and he bought him the car. Well, he was driving a lot faster than me. Now the faster I drive it, the better the car feels. You know, it always changes as you level up. So the good news is we're leveling up. The good news is I think we've got a really, really solid package with the steering rack, with the tires, the different offset on the wheels. The car felt quite a bit different, but after each lap it just felt really more and more comfortable. And you know, we're learning. I think we have a car that can be competitive. We're gonna get to 222, 223, and we're gonna let off. And I know a lot of other competitors might be in the same boat. It's just how racing goes. So we think we're on the right track, and I still think that we can show up and be really competitive.
Yeah, and the one really nice thing about the car, it's very predictable. Like, you could set up in the corners now, and notice you can tap the brakes, set up. We roll in some fast sweeping turns, and it just nails it. So the car is really dialed, and we just got to tweak a few things, and I'm really excited for next weekend.
Yeah, like I mentioned, the power band feels really linear. It's like what we're talking about, that, you know, smooth, slow is smooth, smooth is fast type of thing, carrying momentum, not being too hard on the car. And I think it's faster than it feels. Which is, you know, shout out to Queen, who did a great job. So we'll see. I mean, we can talk all you want. Now it's gonna be a tale of tape. That's the beautiful thing about racing. We're just trying to do as good of a job we can, and then know that we're showing up with a great package, and the chips will fall where they are. So thanks for watching, guys. Tune in next week. Of course, we're going to UTV Worlds. We'll be documenting the whole deal. We'll let you know how it goes. I'll catch you next time.